The following is a presentation on the application of the experiential approach, specifically Klob's experiential learning cycle to the service learning teaching pedagogy for faculty use. The material used in this presentation is the Service Learning Faculty Handbook for Texas A&M International University. This handbook was written for faculty interested in learning more about service learning as a teaching pedagogy and is meant to provide them with the tips and tools necessary to implement this teaching strategy in their content area. However, while the Faculty Handbook provides a great resource on services offered by the on-campus Service Learning Center and provides detailed frameworks for reflective strategies that can assist students in deeper learning, the handbook itself lacks in two critical ways. There is little to no explanation of the experiential approach, specifically Klob's experiential learning cycle, in which service learning as a teaching model is highly based. Additionally, as a teaching and training tool for faculty who may be completely unfamiliar with the application of service learning, this handbook also lacks the examples of lesson planning and application necessary to truly exemplify this strategy in the higher education setting. The following will serve as a recommendation to include both in the future iterations of this tool. Learning is a process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. In this way, service learning allows students the opportunity to apply their learning to an experience within the real world, which creates deeper meaning, fosters connection, and authenticates learning content. Klob's experiential learning cycle is a four-part cycle wherein each stage of the cycle is used in an iterative process to foster student learning. Concrete experience. In this first stage, students experience a new situation or experience something new. Reflective observation. In the second stage, students are given the opportunity to reflect on this new experience in ways that draw connections and expand understandings. Abstract conceptualization. After reflection in the third stage, students are able to apply new meaning to formally abstract concepts. And finally, number 4, active experimentation. In the fourth stage, the student learners are able to apply their newfound knowledge in a way that illustrates deeper understandings and connects to the world around them. So what does Klob's learning cycle look like when it's applied to service learning? Within the handbook, there are 6 models for service learning illustrated. Each of these models has a brief explanation of how it differs from the others, but none of them are accompanied by an example of this model put into practice. The following will serve to apply Klob's experiential learning cycle to each of these service learning models in order to more clearly define and exemplify this theory in practice. Firstly, the discipline-based model, which is the most commonly used model in service learning. In this model, students are expected to have a presence in the community throughout the semester. This can look like weekly service wherein they reflect on their experiences on a regular basis. An example of this application of this model would be in an education course or a course focused on literacy, like an English class. For the concrete experience, students would complete 20 hours of service at an organization like Promising Pages, which works to build in-home libraries for low-income children. For the reflective observation, students were asked to complete journal activities throughout the semester. Abstract conceptualization. Within class, students are better able to understand and discuss the impact of an in-home library for young children and are able to brainstorm ways to ensure that children have this in the future. Active experimentation. Students in this course can host a book drive for gently used children's and teen books that will be donated for a free book fair at a local Title I school. Or, another example, could be students work with administration at the school to organize and purchase the placement of little free libraries all across campus to share books with community members and fellow students. In the problem-based model, students take on the role of the consultant and work to assist their client, the community service agency. Students work with the agency to understand a particular problem or need and to use classroom understandings to assist in problem solving alongside the nonprofit organization. An example of application of this model would be a statistics course. Student groups visit nonprofit organizations to better understand their current needs. In the reflective observation, each group member is asked to reflect on their experience touring the facility, about the mission of the organization, and to reflect on some identified needs they highlighted. Abstract conceptualization. Each group completes a statistical analysis that may be of some assistance to the organization. This can be clientele demographic study or high need areas, analysis of funding streams, or even an impact map to track effectiveness within the community. In the active experimentation phase, student groups can compile these statistic understandings into a report that the nonprofit can then use for decision making or even assist in applications for future funding or grant writing. Within the capstone model, this is an opportunity to create a culminating project for final year students. In this model, students are asked to draw upon their coursework and combine it to new understandings in the community service work. An example of application of this model would be a construction management course working to complete small construction projects for local nonprofit organizations. In the concrete experience phase, graduating seniors work in teams to complete small construction projects with a local nonprofit organization. Groups must complete 3 options and present them to the staff of this facility. Students are given a budget, must be cohesive, thoughtful, and presentable in their ideas for their presentation. In the reflective observation phase, throughout the process, each student is asked to complete reflections on their experience within the organization, the project itself, and their interactions within the group. All of these will later be compiled in the final presentation. Abstract conceptualization. Once on the project it is completed, each student is asked to complete a final project detailing how they completed this project and how it will assist the function of the nonprofit in the future. They're also asked to identify ties back to the organization's core mission. Each group will offer a few options for the continuation of a project and for the nonprofit for future volunteers, as well as a summary of reflective activities. In the active experimentation, students organize a service day for other students within the program and potentially all students, wherein these extension projects are completed. This day of service can occur in the National Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service. The service internship model is more intense than the other models in that it dictates that students are present in their community agency 10 to 20 hours a week offering assistance. This differs from the traditional internship in that there's guided reflection and the introduction of reciprocity, wherein students and the agency benefit equally. An example of this model would be a political science course where they partner with local organizations to host voter registration drives and voter education events on campus. In the concrete experience, they work with organizations like the League of Women Voters to inform these drives and events on campus, as well as to better understand the impact of young voters. In the reflective observation, each student is asked to reflect on how each event went, how it could be improved, and how they feel their general impact is on campus. In the abstract conceptualization phase, students can create a step-by-step guide for other student groups that can be used to create additional or future voter registration drives on campus. This tool will also include the voter education presentation information ascertained throughout the semester in partnership with the community agency. In active experimentation, students will put together a social media campaign that will continue to encourage students to vote into the next semester. Working with the same local nonprofit, they can assist in supporting this campaign as students on campus and future students. The community-based action research is similar to the independent study and is a great option for students who are highly experienced in community work. In this model, students usually work in small groups while serving as advocates in their community. An example of the application of this model would be in a film course where students conduct a series of interviews to assist an organization in telling their story through film. In the concrete experience phase, students can work in small groups to conduct interviews that best capture the work of the organization. Reflective observation. As part of the experience, students must complete their own video reflection discussing the story of the organization and how its mission is impacting the community. Abstract conceptualization. When films are completed, students are able to present the product that both captures skill and showcases the local nonprofit. This can be used for the organization and also can be added to a student's professional portfolio. Active experimentation. Students work with the class to organize a film screening of the final products where tickets, sales, and revenue is donated to the community organization with the winning film. And lastly, the directed study extra credit model. In this model, students can receive additional credit or extra credit by completing a service learning assignment created to foster deeper understandings of course content. An example application of this model would be in a high-level Spanish course, students are able to complete a study abroad trip where they function as translators for medical students assisting doctors in administrating medicines. The concrete experience, naturally, this kind of service is extremely concrete, as students are functioning as translators, but while also being in country, they're able to experience the flavors and cultures of a Spanish-speaking country. Reflective observation. Students are required to complete reflective activities within their group each night, wherein they reflect on their experiences, their observations, and their use of Spanish language within the country. Abstract conceptualization. Students complete a group presentation to give to all students in the Spanish course when they return to class in country, discussing what they learned, how they assisted, the cultural observations they experienced, and any other findings. Active experimentation. Students organize a medical supply drive for basic first aid for their contacts back in country, and send these supplies along with American cultural exchange items to the hospital that they visited. By not only discussing these models, but allowing faculty to be immersed in the application of specific examples of each model in service learning, the handbook becomes a much more impactful and useful tool in application. The explanation of overall experiential approaches in education, specifically that of Klob's experiential learning style, solidifies service learning as a grounded and research teaching pedagogy. Further, application of this theory in varying content areas through the examples provided assists in diversifying understandings and also provides opportunities for extension activity in varying subject areas. Suggestions for continued improvement in this handbook include continuing to add examples of exemplar service learning to the handbook as faculty report on their applications within the university. In addition, for these exemplar faculty, being peer observations for opportunities for new service learning faculty to be present for the presentation of these students would allow opportunities to showcase great work of service learning, as well as showcase opportunities for fellow faculty to inform the practice of one another. Overall, the handbook itself is a great tool for faculty who are new to the idea of service learning, but applying these theories and making these additional changes can make this tool even more effective in fostering interest, cultivating buy-in, and in allowing for the ease of application.